Hi guys, I would like to share another comment with you. Before I do that, I want to just point you to this channel a little bit. What you can do is, I put the link underneath again, right? What you can do is, if you put let me show this. Right, this guy has a very good diction, which means the translation program picks up what he says very well. He also speaks quite slowly, so you can put this in translate. There's a few mistranslations, but you can kind of puzzle it together, right? If you know the context, and you get the context here. If you go on closed captions, it brings the German up. And if you go into settings and auto translate and then go down and put it into English, it translates it into English for you, right? He's come up with, because he came from the money side initially, so he's come up with this graph where he projects how he thinks this thing will play out, right? Because the real bondage that we're in is this false money system, and the slavery system comes through the interest that it's charged on the money, right? And this is how he sees this progressing. So here you have the money before the pandemic, and the high finance, the bankers, have this much capital, i.e. money or mass of money, and the rest of humanity has this much, and he talks you through this here, yeah. Then the physical, the real estate before the pandemic, this is the high finance, and this is the mass of humanity, and this is the volume of money, or the amount of money that everybody sort of has after the money becomes worthless. Yeah. So people are stuck with the worthless money, right? And this is the real estate after the fact of the money being worthless. So basically what you have is the rest of humanity having hardly anything, and they own everything, right? And that's the plan. So he says the solution has to come from, right, he says capitalism is shit uncontrolled and socialism is shit uncontrolled. And they want to bring us into this communist world order, which is socialism on steroid, right? And he sees this happening, like if people lose everything, they will want to have a state that looks after them, right? So we need to have a vision that maybe billionaires get fed up of what's in the plan as well, and they start up a different banking system. We need to replace every single system that they've put in place with our own systems. So instantly, I was talking to a friend about this evening, and instantly what popped into my head was the fact, not only I'm about to open a bank account with a credit union, and because I'm in that frame of mind anyway, what popped into my head was this movie by Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life, where he runs a credit union, and what's basically being portrayed there is our fight. So he contemplates killing himself, and then an angel comes as he's about to jump from a bridge and talks to him. And the upshot of the story is, well, I'm not going to take it all away, but an angel gets his wings when a soul is saved in heaven. And he shows him what would happen to all his family and everybody in this small town if he took his life and gave up on the credit union idea. We need to come up with our own financial system. My plan is to become a bank for my own child with this money that I'm receiving from the pension, because I want to invest in the future, in the real future, and the real future is people. It's the next generation. And this is a very ancient, this comes from our ancestors as well, who knew they would invest in their children. This is a natural state of our human, this is how we used to function. That's why we had children. So the generational contract was there. We take care of our children, and when we're old, our children take care of us. All this has been given over to the state now. I want to do the right thing. I want to do the thing that the ancestors did. And I know I'm on the right tracks with that. And so I would suggest you guys go out, watch this movie. It's one of the most heartfelt and touching movies ever made. And we're right there. We're right at this point, and this movie will help. I believe with this whole Hollywood business, yeah, there's a lot of initiates that are on the side of humanity. And you can see that because they know they're putting these ideas and these projections in our mind with this, yeah. And there's a lot of good wizards there, believe you me. Another funny thing that happened was on that channel. Hang on. I already mentioned this video where he talks about this Alexander Laurent, who's constantly talking about this AI business, yeah? And they're doing this reverse speech, and he's saying, you know, there's a danger to put this, the possibility that this could even be accomplished into the minds of men, and thereby making this manifestation possible. Well, I'm telling you, this is the one thing my husband used to drum into my head. There is no way we can recreate what we are here in this world on this low level with this AI. It is impossible. We are the highest technology on this planet. It's us, right? And the idea even to replace us with robots is just laughable. Absolutely laughable. And they can't recreate what we are. And every time they say they do, and then they show us these ridiculous figures, yeah? This Sophia thing. You know, this is ridiculous. And they're banking on our imagination to make something like that real. And this is just a farce. You've got to laugh about this thing, right? They can't do it. It's impossible. So never ever project that out in the east. It's ridiculous. And then I googled, well, I looked on YouTube for this Alexander Laurent that he's so worried about, and you know, here we are. Yeah, apocalypse, Alexander Laurent, blah blah blah. Artificial intelligence. Here he is. There's only a few things here about this guy, and he doesn't really get a lot of attention, I don't think. And the funny thing was, right along with him, this pops up, Bad Karma. And when you go and look at this Bad Karma thing, it starts with this. And then it goes through this figure who, through deceit, gets a lot of money, improves his job, then hangs out, does this lifestyle that we're all too familiar with. There's various visual sort of pre-shadowings of things. And what's happening in the end eventually is that he gets taken in, Bad Karma, for his shenanigans, yeah? And it's just so funny that that would come up with this fella that the other guy was saying was creating, you know, the Sophia thing, the AI. I'll do the comment in the other video because this is getting too long otherwise. But if you could take a moment and enjoy this movie and start imagining a world with no interest. And just as I imagined the people that were hurt by this certain type of things that they subjected themselves to, and that they would get the power, because this is also a vision that we need to hold. Wouldn't it be nice if we could have a vision for all those people that are in danger because they are under a mortgage, that by some miracle of miracles they will be bailed out by bankers that suddenly pop up, by communal banks, maybe by other things, such as, billionaires who have a good conscience starting up another banking system, and that they get a leg up collectively from people who can lend them money without interest. And we get out from under the claws of this tyrannical monetary system, because that is really the big showstopper, isn't it? So if you can do a Neville on this with me, and we imagine in whatever form that comes to you, maybe you see headlines in newspapers. People in mortgage trouble are being bailed out by a new form of banking system that is springing up amongst the people. Yeah? Something like that. Or you see somebody who has a mortgage problem, you see them suddenly coming to you and hugging you and saying, "Oh my God, can you believe what's just happened? This communal bank here, I never knew they existed, but they've just offered me a mortgage without interest." We need to have a completely new way of doing commerce with one another. And we have to birth ideas. So I thought, his pointer there was really good, and he did that in this one particular video. This one here. And I'll stick the link below, and you can do this little translation thing. And I think you can already see where this is going, yeah? And if we can see people not getting in trouble over this, but see some way this is going to be resolved because the monetary systems are changing. Didn't Lincoln try and do something like that with the greenback? I'll just show you a little bit here, a little excerpt, yeah, where he's starting to talk about this, because you can see this is quite well translated.
Wir sind im Sommer 2022 kollektiv an einem Scheidepunkt angekommen. Einerseits gibt es Hoffnung, dass die Macht des Tiefenstaats demnächst enden kann. Die Hochfinanz wird ihn vermutlich opfern müssen, weil er trotz aller Desinfo, die überall gegenwärtig ist, zu sichtbar geworden ist. Andererseits wird uns das noch nicht das erhoffte goldene Zeitalter bringen, weil wir uns immer noch im Würgegriff des Zinsgeldsystems befinden werden. Und dieser Würgegriff dürfte sich so sehr verschlimmern, dass die Hochfinanz trotz Ende des Tiefenstaats kaum an Macht verlieren dürfte. Ich wurde von verschiedenen Leuten...
And this is because of the power of money, right? Interestingly, funnily, I rewatched this with my son last night, and I noticed this the first time, and I already know what's going to happen to the helpers of the people who, are doing all the naughty things. And I just got this clip here. It's only a few minutes, but it shows you how the fortunes of those that are in the pockets of the powerful sometimes changed quite dramatically and unexpectedly. And believe you me, this has not changed. This is still the same. Nothing has changed. And they will be ditched. You know what I mean?
And it was painted with egg tempera, which dries much more quickly than oil paints. So this was done in a hurry. It's a peculiar picture. Look how she stares straight out at us. You can't look natural staring like that. Holbein's art was beginning to stiffen. The king didn't mind. He liked Holbein's portrait of Anne so much he married her. But the marriage was a famous disaster. When Henry saw what she really looked like in the flesh rather than in Holbein's portrait of her, he found her, and this is his word, not mine, repulsive. So, the marriage was never consummated and quickly annulled. But at least Anne of Cleves got out of it alive. Not everyone was as fortunate. Cromwell, who'd sent Holbein to Europe to paint Anne, was blamed for the mistake. And a few weeks after the wedding, he was accused of treason and beheaded.
And don't think for a minute that's not gonna happen to those that were just tools for the rich and powerful. So that's another little vision. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.